all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah.
How you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life.
Well, negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Is she stupid or is she dumb? Because I think she might be both.
Hey, y'all, Gravity, any day above ground living. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Wednesday, or if it already started, shout out to you. And you know what Wednesday is. It's hump day, so you got to go out there and hump something. We are finally here, day off, and we're going to have much fun today because after this live, y'all get a little bit of a reprieve, and then we're going to go laugh at Vivek Ramaswamy. But before we get into that, Erika Kirk has made the rounds the last few days. She did a town hall on Saturday with CBS and Barry Weiss, where she talked about Charlie and other things. And there was some very disturbing things that she said in there. And Candace Owens and her sat down and had a detente, I guess, you know, for the hoods. You know, she did it for the hoods. So we're going to look at what Candace's reaction was at. And the streets are saying that Candace, all right, we're just going to call it what it is. They said Candace came off like she lost. She lost. But anyway, we have told y'all many a time that there is something that you don't mess with. We said it last night for those who were here when Roland tried it with that Emily Austin character. And Candace Owens figured it out. There's just something in this world you don't do. And that is mess with the blue eyes white bitch.
I sacrifice both of my creatures to summon this! My blue eyes white dragon! Now, Blue Eyes, attack his Exodia Necros! You lose!
Never do that. But we're going to get to that. But before we start, let's see who's in the building. Wallow J, hello. Kind Equation Arts, hello. You seem new, but welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Brooklyn Queen, hello. DSA, hello. Cosmo Fury, hello. Gamers Den, hello. Reparations Nation, hello. Yoshima Rice, hello. Emperor Rex, hello. Sybil, hello. Stream Element Bot, you bastard, hello. Don P, hello. Canadian Chick, hello. You seem new, but welcome. Miss Nisi, hello. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. So let's get into the customary house cleaning because we have videos to watch, and you know how YouTube is.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now I'm going to start the teaching.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
All right, let's get into it. CBS News presents a town hall with Erika Kirk. So let's see what she's talking about.
Get to work!
Breaking news out of Utah Valley University.
There's an emergency response there, flooded by law enforcement.
The hats were the only thing flying that day, for those who remember.
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot during an event.
The latest horrible example of what appears to be a rising tide of political violence.
In the past year, we've seen assassinations and assassination attempts against a Republican presidential candidate, Democratic legislators, and a conservative activist.
One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved.
That's a different question.
Arguing and debating on campus. Fighting for the
You're
gospel.
thinking way too simple about this. You got to go deeper.
Truth. In front of a big crowd, and then he blinked. He blinked. And saw his Savior in paradise.
Even as he had.
We're in the vortex, but I'm going to let the family should we be respectful or should we critique it as we need to critique it? I'm going to let y'all decide that.
Had all of these positions, many of them seen as controversial on different issues. He had a huge galaxy of support on America's right.
When you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence.
What the hell was that?
Why do you feel a necessity to insult people?
Again.
Is that
where's the script? Where's the script? Read the script.
Is this a big defensive thing that you've got?
Read the script.
Why don't you read your own script?
CBS News presents
the script is beautiful.
A town hall with Erika Kirk.
Good evening. I'm Barry Weiss, editor-in-chief of CBS News.
and I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let me tell you why we're here. If you're watching this or you're sitting here in this room with me, you know what I know, which is that we live in a very divided country, a country where many people feel that they can't speak across the political divide. Sometimes they feel they can't even speak across their own kitchen table. And one of the goals of the new CBS News is to change that. And this town hall is just the beginning. This is going to be the first of many conversations and debates on CBS News about the things that matter most, which are often the hardest to talk about. I can make one promise to you, and it's this. You will not agree with everything you hear tonight or in any of these other broadcasts. And that is exactly the point. Because the premise of a democracy is that we persuade each other with words and not violence. And that the only way to get to the truth is by talking to one another.
Don't you just love you got some conservative who got over a 9-figure deal to go into CBS and try and talk out your differences? Your side don't want to talk out no differences, and the left don't want to talk out no differences. So it looks like we, as the independents, are going to have to save the nation like we usually do. We are Charlie Kirk. The hell we are not. We are Charlie Kirk. Ha! Did you know, since y'all wrote that, right? Bam. Do you know the acronym of that statement is WHACK?
This is how real it is to The Rock. Chills. This is how real it is to The Rock.
They have been repeating for months that they are whack. Say less.
Get to work!
Play, you motherfucker. Oh, Jesus.
And that brings me right to tonight's guests, Erika Kirk. 3 months ago,
Damn, they
Erika
didn't even
Kirk's
clap
husband,
for her.
Charlie,
Let's get
was
it.
assassinated
Let's
on a
get
college
it.
campus in Utah. To some, Charlie Kirk was controversial. To others, he was heroic. What is indisputable is that he transformed the American right in the 21st century. He did it through an organization called Turning Point USA, which
Toilet
he
Paper
founded when he was
USA.
only 18 years old. In the wake
Funded
of
by a
Charlie's
billionaire.
murder, Erika has now
Barry.
picked up his mantle.
Hold
The
on.
mother of 2 young children, she is also now the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point.
Oh my God.
Now, Charlie's murder was
Damn,
not an
this is why-
isolated tragedy.
Hold on, fam.
And tonight in the audience, we have other victims of the police.
This is why I don't like CBS's video interface. It sucks. You can't pause nothing. It just want to play. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. But again, it's Toilet Paper USA. So go ahead.
Political violence that's ripping through this country. We also have religious leaders, college students, young Christians, and others invited by CBS News. You're going to be hearing from some of them tonight.
Better
We have
than
a
where
lot to talk
Charlie's
about.
at.
So, Erika, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I was very grateful when you had reached out.
Not a liberal.
Because it was an opportunity to be able to have a conversation that Charlie always enjoyed, being able to have dialogue on both sides so that people could really hear everything that's going on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making the time. There's so many subjects I want to cover.
Mm-hmm.
I want to begin with the hours and days after your husband was murdered.
Yes.
You got up in his podcast studio where he broadcasted from for many hours every day.
Yeah.
And you said this. You said, "You have no idea what you have just unleashed." What did you mean by that?
Let me give you a little background of that day. We get home. The team goes to dinner.
I have more because I'm alive.
And I can't sleep. It took me months to
Wait,
even walk into my bedroom.
wait. Somebody's gonna tell me that I have less grace than Charlie Kirk. Oh, okay. See, unlike y'all's Charlie Kirk, when I have a disagreement with somebody, I can sit there and actually have a conversation. Now, if they don't want to have the conversation, that's on them. I don't have to act like a thug on stage like Charlie did. Oh, y'all don't believe me. I figured you didn't. Y'all remember this photo? When Cenk Uygur sat there and triggered his ass? He got up out of his seat, started yelling. Huh. You did that in front of a crowd. Oh, stick around. Would you like me to also talk about the people that killed Nabi Isa alayhi salam, the prophet Jesus? I'd love to talk about them. Who else? I would love to talk about the people that took out Malcolm X and MLK. I would love to do that. Stick around. But anyway, and yes, Miss Niecy, unfortunately, I'm going to play. It's only 50-something minutes, so we'll be out of here quick. But there's things in there that I need y'all to see. This chick on the screen is dangerous. So we need y'all to be educated on what to watch out for.
Get to work!
Play.
I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone and I start typing out it. And those are my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities.
Taking over your country, I would be quiet.
Statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide.
No, he didn't.
We're fully transparent. What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated.
Okay.
He didn't die in a car accident.
He was not assassinated. He was shot.
So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed.
Says the jerk with the upside down maple leaf, crying about my words.
That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea.
This motherfucker said she's not a victim.
And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years.
People die every day, B.
31 years. And so, yes.
Okay, fine.
I'll
be the jerk. How about all them babies that you conservatives aborted?
Oh, I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that. Oof.
Should we talk about those? Yes. All you conservative women who aborted babies in college and then ran over, put on a Jesus piece on your neck that you got from Claire's, and then acting like you came out of a nice, sanctimonious 2-family home that y'all was reading the Bible like seventh heaven every night. Yeah, let's talk about that. Couldn't wait to get out of your daddy and your mommy's house at 17 to go sleep with a black guy at 17 days and 2 days before your birthday.
Oh, I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that. Oof.
Couldn't wait to turn 18 to sleep with said black guy again and then try to pass off the baby with the boyfriend that you got in freshman year. But you had to go get the abortion because you couldn't go home looking fat because then your mama started asking some questions. So you went to Planned Parenthood. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that, huh?
Oh, I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that. Oof.
Oh, we could keep going. Since you want to talk about loss of life over there on the right. Interesting. You liberals, you.
What has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that he only can to bring glory to him and to the kingdom.
Who cares?
And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
A real Christian does not espouse when Jesus is going to use you. Jesus puts you in the position you need to be in. Jesus did not put you in this position. Man did. That's why everything's going to shit right now on that side.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the
Our
idea
God
was
is
this.
Lucifer.
They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
And
You're
all those
sick.
black babies are whooping Charlie's ass up there.
He's a human being. You think he deserved that?
No,
Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter.
he didn't deserve it, but he didn't realize that he lives in a world called fuck around and find out. When he went to Oxford, he fucked around and found out. He thought those students were like the students over here. No, those students are very well versed. Yeah, they may play liberal, but Oxford, one of the most prestigious universities on earth. Yeah. Ran into a buzzsaw. He didn't like that. Spent months, weeks, days talking about, I'm going to expose MLK. The second he got the microphone to expose him, used some black guy in a bad suit to go expose him and just sat off in the corner. The man was a coward. It's easy to debate college students, except Oxford. That's easy. Put up a table at a school with a permit to debate college kids. That's easy. Go debate grown-ass adults. We saw what happened. Cenk Uygur was sitting there, and I hate Cenk Uygur. Chunk Yogurt, what I call him. But he was cooking him. From the crowd. He had to get up and act like a thug on stage in front of everybody. And you knew there were liberals in the room. And you knew there were conservatives in the room. And you went up there and acted like a thug. This is not how people that are intellectually superior, allegedly, and intellectual thought leaders are supposed to act. Where is the poise? Where is the grace? Ain't got none. Interesting how that always seems to happen.
Get to work!
Here we go.
Excuse me.
Put her on General Hospital already.
You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered?
Everybody saw Trump get shot.
And laugh?
Many people laughed at Trump getting shot. I wasn't one of them because I was at work when that happened. But many people laughed. That's the society y'all built. That's the society liberals helped build. That's the society that a lot of people that are devoid of human compassion built. This is the world you presented to us. But you did this in his name. Let the church say amen.
And say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you. I pray. Because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us.
Yet your husband was on the internet profiting. I'm sure you wasn't saying all this when the internet was providing you a gated community outside of Phoenix. I'm sure you weren't complaining about the internet when your husband came home with the check every week. I'm sure the internet wasn't complaining when you were able to call him up and maybe do some things that a wife is supposed to do so you could fly on a private plane around the country. I'm sure you didn't blame the internet when you were able, I don't even know if you went, but he was able to go to South Korea and all these other countries and just talk and get speaking fees. I'm sure you didn't blame the internet then. I'm sure when he was getting his Twitter check every 2 weeks, I'm sure you weren't complaining about the internet then. Now, all of a sudden, you find a tragedy, you want to blame the internet? Well, the internet ain't got no feelings, so it don't give a damn. It moves on. Power of machines and binary code and all that. I think Erika Kirk found out on September 10th that the world is not an echo chamber. And your movements have consequences. Welcome to life.
My husband did something very simple. He talked to people.
He lied.
You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas.
Set it up.
And if you think it's okay,
go tell her. Set it up.
To murder someone because you think they had it coming for them because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say.
You ain't telling no lie, Rosalind. This is one life to hang.
And you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that. That is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
By the way, did you scold your husband when he was making all them posts about Carmelo Anthony without even knowing what happened? Did you scold your husband when he was sitting there and knocking black people all day? Did you scold him then? Huh? Did you think about your children when your husband was sitting there doing what he was doing, knowing that they're going to have to grow up in that shadow? Did you scold him and try to tell him to ease it back a little bit? Think about the kids? No, you didn't do that. But you want to sit up here on a town hall and act all moral. I get it. I get it. I told y'all one of the most dangerous creatures in all of the world is the blue eyes white bitch.
I sacrifice both of my creatures to summon this! My blue eyes white dragon! Now, Blue Eyes, attack his Exodia Necros!
Somebody asked me if I had more than 100 people listening to my dark ideology. First off, it ain't dark. My ideology is bathed in light. And two, you should have been here the other night. I had almost 1,000 people in here talking about Rob Reiner and Trump. Oops. Matter of fact, that was yesterday morning. On a Tuesday morning, no less, when everybody was going to work or enjoying their day off. They were in there at 8:30 in the morning. Yeah. But you can stay. What's up, church?
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression.
Wait a minute. She brought up, wait. You brought up a Latino libertarian. Boy, fam. Now, I watched clips of this, so I didn't see this part, but to start off with someone from a group that's being targeted right now for deportation, who happens to be a libertarian, this should be fun. I like the whole Afro-Latino aesthetic you got going on too. I like that. Go ahead. And I see the Superman pin. He must have saw the James Gunn movie. Movie was fire, by the way. Go ahead.
Or fire. And he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Thank you, Perry. Excuse me. Hi, Erika. My condolences. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in many cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it.
Oh, good God. So this is a normal trope with Turning Point USA operatives. They don't answer questions directly. I didn't think it extended past the buildings or Amfest. Okay. So we're not going to answer his question. Say less. Go ahead.
Before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're
wrong. I'm sorry for doing that to family. He didn't incite violence. So when Paul Pelosi got his ass kicked in his house and he ran on the next day and said, I would pay to have the guy that did that released. I'd pay his bail. Wouldn't that mean you were inciting violence? Because what if he did do that? He got out and went to go finish the job. That would be violence. And that would be on you because you were on film that said that. You see how they don't remember things, but see, Black people invented the art of the internet receipt. But again, I bet you didn't scold him for saying that. Bet you didn't. But we know why you didn't scold him, because he said that on Rumble and nobody really watches Rumble like that. But continue. Go ahead.
Get to work!
She already looks angry. I'm telling you, she'd be great in a soap opera, except Beyond the Gates. Do not put her on there. Put her on anyone else. Let's leave her off the Black shows.
saying XYZ and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. Well, that's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop.
Hammer time.
It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone. And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck.
Huh? That's not even what happened. Somebody asked him about Chicago gun violence. He was about to say something, and then Tyler Robinson from the MAGA family did what he did. That's not what we're going to do. Let's not do that, man.
Totally different. But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that, and I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to.
That was a shot at Jews, by the way. That's the first thing I wanted y'all to see. Because my mouth dropped when she said that. I was like, how are you sitting there taking shots at Jews? Are you trying to tell? Never mind. Go ahead.
Why? You don't have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me.
Because your side doesn't want to have honest conversations.
My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world. So simple.
Yeah.
That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then going to have a Subway afterwards.
And that shows you that there's a script, but y'all acting like Democrats and Republicans hate each other in 2025?
Let me look.
Yes, ma'am. People in the 80s and 90s hate each other, talked it out. We also went around the corner and beat the fuck out of each other. And then we came back as friends. Yes. So why are y'all upset about political violence? We've had fist fights. There's many sectors of this country that's had fist fights in the 80s and 90s over political views. That's why people don't like bringing up political views in spaces where they're not expecting to talk about that. Black people could tell you the black barbershop, yeah. Sports and politics, yeah. Motherfuckers get a little animated. Yes. Y'all normalized it because y'all wanted to dunk on Obama all day. Thank you. You introduced this. Now you got to deal with it. Thank you so much.
Why don't we do that anymore? Instead, it's
You
violence.
stop it.
Usually one-sided. I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book, the last book he will ever write? It could have been about politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It
He never showed it.
literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop.
How you gonna preach stop the hate and your husband was hateful? How do we do that? I tell you, man. All right, go ahead.
And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive.
She sounds like a white liberal.
But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him, screaming. Does he scream back? Not once. He sits.
He did that to Cenk Uygur. Stop telling this lie. But okay. I know he's an adult. That don't count. Man, what did you think was going to happen when your husband was doing what he was doing? Did you think people were just going to cheer him all day and say, you know what, let's have honest conversations? No, he's going to catch the shit that he caught. Your husband never debated in good faith. That's why it was easy for all of us to do content on it and debunk what the hell he was saying. This is why he didn't want to talk to real adults. The man sat up there for years using 2019 stats. How are you an intellectual thought leader and don't use updated data? How? And you're supposed to lead men and women. How? Then them little bastards go outside with those same talking points and meet us or our children who are well-versed and get their ass kicked. Then they're like, oh, well, see, look at y'all. Y'all chimping out. Because we're telling you the truth. You're mad that we come up with solutions that y'all can't come up with? You're mad about that. Charlie got shot. Okay. What did you think the outcome was going to be when people found that out? Did you think it was going to be Michael Jackson in 2009? The whole world was going to stop? No. Wow. Fuck. Where's the video? Bet you if you Google, you ask for their analytics that day, I bet you that was the #1 search. Video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. Wasn't no jihadists in the desert crying like they did for MJ. Japan didn't stop. The US didn't mourn. People were like, fuck, he got shot. That's crazy. Where's the video? All right. Football this weekend. Who y'all got? That's the kind of respect your husband commanded. And notice, outside of this, and it's some dumbass right-wingers, the rest of the world don't give a fuck. And it only took 90 days.
And you know what he's thinking? It's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature.
Now she
Go
trying to
sit
say
and have a
touch
coffee.
grass.
Go and tell your mother you love her. Go do something that is beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones.
Yes.
That they are doing something to us collectively.
Some of them are
They are
blue.
dehumanizing us. Later, we'll talk about the conspiracies that are spreading right now on those platforms about who killed your husband. What do you recommend to people sitting in this room? What are your practices to disconnect, to reconnect by disconnecting?
Well, like my husband, I took all of it off my phone.
Took what?
All social media off your phone.
No, I don't have it on my phone. I have a team that helps run it.
And there it is.
I really.
So wait, so you went from just doing it yourself to now your team is running your pages. I'm sure they're giving you updates every day. I'm sure. So she's getting briefings on her social media. She thinks she's a Kardashian. This is wonderful. Erika Kardashian. All right, go ahead.
Everyone has an opinion about me. I could care less.
Bullshit.
You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
One of the things that is.
How did she tell us a lie? If you didn't care about what people think, why would you go sit there and talk to Candace Owens?
Jesus Christ. Is this a joke? Huh? Are you joking right now?
I ask again. If you didn't care about what people thought about you, you wouldn't have met with Candace Owens. You could have put out a press release through your team since you don't have social media. You can't do it yourself. I don't care about what Candace does. If she wants to go down that road, may God bless her. I'm focused on my children and Toilet Paper USA. We have AmFest coming up. You could even shill it. And you could have kept it moving. And then you would have had a whole bunch of right-wing walruses be like, Erika, 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 Erika. And you might have made some money off of that. But you sat here with Barry Weiss talking about how you got rid of social media. None of that bothers you, but you went to talk to Candace Owens literally, 3 days later.
Happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime.
And said nothing.
And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said.
That's what he said.
Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
But he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation.
Acting again.
How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of.
Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
So I'm supposed to watch a broader context clip about this man saying he has a problem with black pilots because he thought that they weren't qualified enough because they were sitting in that seat, even though they all have to go through the same stringent requirements possible to even get a shot at getting on a plane, even to get into the rotation. I'm supposed to listen to that. By the way, Erika, we heard the whole context and he was still sounding like an asshole. We heard the DEI stuff. We heard the whole clip. I played it here. We debunked him, the whole thing. Without the Civil Rights Act of 1964, your bitch ass family wouldn't have been able to emigrate here. So he wouldn't have been able to have you after you had the boyfriend that you were talking to and with when you met him, who happened to be friends, allegedly. So I'm glad you're saying that you agree and saying that they should have watched the whole clip. Yeah, you wouldn't have been an American citizen. Huh.
Get to work!
How can you tell the American racists? They will say something and within 10 seconds own themselves.
What he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't
That's
care
a
what
damn
religion
lie.
you were.
Damn lie.
He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA.
No, he didn't.
The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea what he was, that whole, there's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to
Then
two
why do
sentences.
white people use it?
He's not. He is a thought leader. He was brilliant of a man.
He was what? Brilliant? The dude who dropped out of junior college, who couldn't get into West Point, he was brilliant. Oh, Lord.
We know this. The Chinese know that we know. But we make believe that we don't know, and the Chinese make believe that they believe that we don't know, but know that we know. Everybody knows.
You right wingers, boy. Y'all got the work. You know what? I shouldn't have expected this much when y'all propped up Jordan Peterson, and look where he's at now. He on the left. I shouldn't have expected it. Look who y'all have out there talking for you. You got Jack Posobiec over there yelling at a wrestling promoter. Charlie Kirk was brilliant. Oh my God. You got it. It's your husband. You have to talk about him glowingly. Go ahead.
So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of
Pause.
context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
Does it bother you that people are picking out those statements and drawing an entire picture of who he was?
Again, that's the problem. You're not having a conversation. You're having a 15-second clip on the internet.
Son, do you see the bling bling? Look at the bling bling. Every time I come around your city, bling bling. Jesus. Right wingers, this doesn't, oh, I know. She's on that side. She's okay. If this was a leftist doing this, y'all would have been looking up, y'all would have been Googling each of them rings, trying to find out where it come from, how much it costs. The shekels must have been good. Shout out to Charlie, though. He provided a great life for the children and this mail order bride. It's okay. You're not mad at it. Can she sustain it? I see Turning Point USA dying next year, so it's all good. Extract the shekels. Go ahead.
To define your thought of who someone is, instead of taking the time to educate yourself on truly who that person is, what they thought, because why they challenged you to think a little different. Again, my husband was an amazing man.
Why do you feel a necessity to insult people?
Again.
Is that...
But I do not once, for 1 second, think he was anything else than exceptional.
That's your husband. You should be.
Erika, as you know,
well, hey, fam, she's actually doing something. I'm actually shocked. I can't believe we're about to give a little bit of credit. I know y'all are upset. She out here white rapping.
This is an uppercut. It's not fucking rock. I'm top 2 and definitely not the runner. I ain't got the moan to lots of bubbles and...
She out here white rapping. Let's get it.
person that Charlie ever
More
spoke to
tissues.
was a Utah
Is this
Valley
sponsored
student
by Kleenex?
named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and
Wait, so is this the guy? Wait,
he's here tonight.
is this the guy that asked the question before he got shot? Let me see.
And he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity. And I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than...
So they're saying this is the dude that asked him about the Chicago gang violence question. Huh. And he's apparently a liberal.
than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that Turning Point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question.
Somebody asked a very poignant question. Where is it? XYT, the United States has asked what Camp Mossad. Well, let's go look. We finna go look. We found that. That's why I was a little quiet, because I was searching, but we found it.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in
We found Mossad footage of Erika Kirk, so we're gonna look.
We hold you in our...
There she goes. Her name used to be Megan Berwick. So there go Erika Kirk right there.
And when we think about you, it makes me want to fart.
It's I hope we never part. Now get it right or pay the price.
That's kind of crazy. This is the stuff they don't want you to see on the internet, by the way. But we go back. That was a good question, though. I like that question.
Get to work.
You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home.
Oh, here we
okay?
go. Oh, here we
This
go.
starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows.
Right.
You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence.
Miss Arizona. They saying y'all pops was a plant for the government, like Obama's. All right.
My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it.
He should have been a victor.
But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror when you become a
Say
father, when you
CT
become
so
a
they give me
mother.
my chat.
How are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action.
Are you blaming technology now? Your husband thrived on technology. Oops.
From that is parents step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin?
Why can't he be a thought leader assassin? Why can't we teach our kids to spot the bullshit? That's what a lot of these kids today are lacking. They don't have the street smarts to know when somebody's snowing them. That's why it's easy for them to be persuaded by these streamers and stuff like that. They're just going to say things and do things that look exciting, but there's no substance behind it. I know you not talking. On that point, Erika.
Be quiet! Shut up! Get to work!
That's where we're at.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Yes.
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part.
But you're not on social media, so nobody's going to hear it. Yes, your political leaders should be out there doing the issues, not sitting there tweeting about nonsensical BS all day. Yes. They don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities.
I'm not in control of other people.
You wish you were.
Okay. Ahead, a father whose daughter was murdered in cold blood because of who she was. He's here. Also, political violence and the conspiracy.
Popular on these college campuses.
What do you say?
Cold blood.
Is of freedom, liberty, American exceptionalism have been so popular on these college campuses.
Welcome back to our CBS News Town Hall with Erika Kirk. Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel.
So why the fuck she didn't be quiet and not agree to do this? Did y'all tell her to? Did you tell us to leave her alone when she went at the funeral and turned it into a MAGA rally? Did you say anything then? Did you say leave that woman alone when they were selling T-shirts in the lobby? Did you say anything then? When she's over there whispering in JD's ear, wearing leather pants, did y'all tell people to leave her alone? When she's on podcasts, throwing veiled shots at people, did you tell us to leave her alone? Nah, y'all didn't do that. Y'all love drama. That's the only thing I'm going to agree with her on this. The world loves drama.
we know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left,
Oh, good
including
God.
here in New York City,
What?
where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata.
He's not serious. The left hates Jews now. The left hates Jews now. Wait. New York City people hate Jews? What was I? He's not serious. Now you know that's fucked up. Globalize the empanada. I could go for some empanadas right now, but let's get back to the point. Sir, I'm from New York City. You're not about to tell me that New York City hates Jews. What? If they hated Jews, Cat's Deli would have closed maybe 50 years ago. There wouldn't be no big Jewish enclaves in Williamsburg and Riverdale and goddamn what do you call it? Forest Hills and Kew Gardens. What? New York City hates Jews because Mondami would not say, I condemn globalize the infantata. No, sir. He played Hakuna Matata. That's why he keeps taking a picture with them Jews. Anytime y'all watching him, he is either pictured or videoed with Jews. And that was another reason why he whooped the GOP's ass in that election. He weaponized the Jewish vote because he's going to give them the city contracts, which they're going to flip into the federal ones. It's a game. So for you to sit up there and say New York City hates Jews, boy, you know what? You got it.
What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial,
Your mama,
anti-Zionism,
because she damn
and the
sure ain't teach you
normalizing of
nothing.
centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're
Globalize
in
the
good company,
Spanish
and I will pray for you.
frittata.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Why are you crying again? Lord. I'm glad I'm not playing a drinking game, fam. I'd be done already. Stop crying.
Hate is hate.
And
It's
love is
evil.
love.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people.
Here we go.
It's awful.
Uh-huh.
Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians?
Your 2-week Twitter check. That's what comes out of it. People monetize hate. You know that. Don't do that, madam. Please don't.
What healing factor comes out?
Healing factor,
Hate
she's
in
Wolverine
general,
now.
Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to walk
Did you kiss the wall?
in the place where our Lord walked
Here we go. Now she's
and
gonna
see
do
the
that
Bible
live.
come to life in Technicolor.
Well, thank you, Erika Kirk. You just told us you're not a Christian because that's not real Israel. But I figured I somehow when I saw that clip, I was like, oh, yep. I think you need to go read your Bible. That's not Israel, man. But you know, y'all gonna continue that lie. Go ahead.
How could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a Conspiracy theory, I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick.
Is it?
And it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior.
So we don't. Why do you think God let humans make this their own decision? Why do you think he did that? So we can learn from them, so we can grow. You right wingers and you lefties don't want to learn from your mistakes. You just want to repeat them, hoping they'll give you a different result. Now we're at the times where everybody's watching you. They're going to watch you fuck up, but they're also going to watch you try to clean it up. And y'all don't want to clean it up. Your husband would have got a lot further if he wasn't an asshole. And I'm sorry if you're a Charlie Kirk fan or you want to yell out that you're whack. But Charlie Kirk was an asshole. Again, I'm not saying he deserved what he got, but he was an asshole. And people rightly called him out, even on the left and the right, for him being an asshole. That man lived with hate in his heart 24/7, 365. Just because you hide behind a Bible and a cross does not erase that. And considering he led that household and now who's controlling that household, his influence was damning.
And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen. And I pray that that is something that we can somehow
That makes
extinguish
you
in this
human.
world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Tell them Jews that. And Barry Weiss is Jewish, so go ahead and tell her after this that you can't separate the New Testament from the Old Testament. See what she tell you.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
What? I just noticed something. He looked like Skip Bayless in 30 years. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay. Being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality.
Make sure you blot
A
that shit.
22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican.
That's not what they said. That's not what they said. The right said that bullshit. But they did not come out that he came out of a house where both of his parents and, what was it, the aunt, were MAGA. And he recently went to the left. So he grew up in a MAGA household. Say less. Go ahead. By the way, screenshot.
Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
Other
They
people say
laughing,
that a
too.
number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon T-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
my kids'
your kids' initials,
my wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
but apparently they symbolize some kind of secret
There you should go again, showing off the bling bling like a rapper. Go ahead.
plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you.
Shot at Candace Owens.
What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
How is it open and shut?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips.
Are you fucking serious?
Jesus Christ. Is this a joke? Huh? Are you joking right now?
Ma'am, we had social media 5 years after the towers fell and motherfuckers was watching Loose Change. What are you talking about? Michael Moore was making money, millions of dollars, putting conspiracy theory movies in, well, documentaries, in movie theaters. Did you forget about Fahrenheit 9/11? What? She's not, this broad boy. They literally did a whole conspiracy about what happened with Trump in the field in Butler. They're pulling theories right now that saying Israel's controlling Trump, which they kind of are, but again, it's a conspiracy theory. There's conspiracy theories that saying Trump is being controlled by the OCGFC, BRICS, ASEAN, and what's the other one? And OPEC Plus. Y'all were running around the first time. What did you think the deep state was? That was a conspiracy theory. Nobody ever came out with a concrete list of who the fuck was against that man. Every time somebody said something against him, y'all was like, oh, he deep state. No, he might just have a fundamental disagreement. Y'all put Mike Pence in there after January 6th. Come on now. And you gonna say this bullshit?
Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Fire.
No, but Egyptian planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple.
You don't think your government would kill somebody? Okay.
Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say.
The defense team in church, I know you're still here. The defense team would debunk all that. What the fuck? She's none too bright. Did you forget about Discovery, ma'am? You don't think they got a copy of his cell phone too? We talking about Charlie's. You don't think they got a copy of that stuff? Huh? Of course they're going to go in there as the defense and say that he didn't do it. Oh, Lord. The script is beautiful.
And I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing.
Get some.
On that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trials pans out.
There it is. There it is. Because there's another conspiracy that Luigi didn't kill that man. There's another one. Ma'am, if that man gets off, pause, Tyler Robinson's going home. I promise you he's going home. And he's going to be one of the worst things that's ever happened to the right, because they will weaponize him on the left. He will become their new intellectual thought leader. He will forever be the man who was almost crucified for something that he didn't do. And it's double jeopardy. So he could fuck around like OJ and write a book and say, yeah, I did that shit. Y'all couldn't do nothing to that man. That's crazy.
Say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is, it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like, they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case.
Huh?
That's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become. Okay.
Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not.
Still here, brother? Wait a minute. Let me look. Okay, so they're still doing the evidence part. Wait, a hearing focused on the defense effort to exclude evidence from Luigi Mangione's state murder trial just completed second week and revealed new details about his December 2024 arrest at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. So they didn't even pick the jury yet. Man, okay. He's going to be tried in Utah, so more than likely it's going to be 12 people. You think Utah is liberal and they're just going to send that boy home? And taint what? If anything, the way you talking is going to fuck up your chances. What if you get a jury pool that actually like Charlie Kirk and the defense figures that out and he don't exclude them? He get 12 people that didn't really know that man, which will give him a significant advantage when they go into the trial and they start playing his clips. And like you said earlier, how words can be damaging. They'll make him look like a sympathetic figure. if he has a competent lawyer. But like Church said, you worried about an impartial jury. Okay.
Within those dates that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one, only because from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant,
Oh, Lord.
hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
The podcaster Candace Owens.
Here we go.
At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say?
So Barry White's out here just she's taking shots now. She out here, white girl rapping. Shout out to her.
This is an uppercut. It's not fucking run. I'm top 2 and definitely not the runner. I ain't got the mojo, lots of bubbles and.
She said, let me get the mic. All right, go ahead.
To her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now.
What?
Stop.
Hammer time.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay. The next question comes from.
I ain't gonna hold you. What if Erika and Candace come out as a lesbian couple? Man, that's gonna shatter the riot, boy.
A person who may be familiar to you, Erika, because Charlie interviewed him for his show last August.
She said 4.5 hours. They could have traded notes, yelled at each other, got to fighting, and did a little tribute. I'm just saying.
August. Rob Henderson, to you.
Thank you, Barry, and thank you, Erika. During that discussion with Charlie, neither of us knew that was going to be the last long-form interview he would ever conduct, because his life was cut short by the actions of a very disturbed young man. As someone who admired Charlie's ability to offer young people a productive and optimistic path, I wanted to ask, how should the conservative movement think about cultivating leaders and role models for young men? And how can it continue offering them a constructive alternative to the toxic currents Charlie so astutely criticized?
Buy stock in the Grindr app.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
Knowing what Turning Point likes to do with the teenagers and stuff has started to come out. Hook them up with the Passport Bros.
You want some more?
We might have more. I think you guys over there, and it'll accelerate the decline faster and the demise of Turning Point USA faster. But hire Fresh and Fit to be y'all's media communications directors.
You want some more?
We might have more. Have Brandon Tatum show them how to act like black people, since they already want to do that anyway. But he's in charge of the thug movement. The thug movement.
You want some more?
We might have more. Then send them over to the Hodge twins to have their, well, we'll be nice. Every 2 days, the exercises on being on knee pads.
You want some more?
We might have more. Then, you're going to have to hire Candace back, and you know what her fee is. But She is going to be like Jean Grey. She's just going to be teaching conspiracy theories 101 and how to get them over.
You want some more?
We might have more. Then you could get old Brillin Holohan now. You're going to have to hire him. He's just adjacent, but you're going to have to hire him as an adjunct professor. And you're going to show him how to be a 19-year-old loser who comes from money, going out and getting cooked in debates because he don't know no better. So I guess we could call that cosplaying a conservative.
You want some more?
We might have more. Then you can go and get the YouTubers. Now, this is the most important class in this new Turning Point USA University. This is the how to be a grifting YouTuber. And depending on how much money they pay, they will teach you how long your career on YouTube is before you start thoroughly getting cooked.
You want some more? Do you? All right, bim, bam, boom. Somebody get this nigga out of my way.
All right, somebody asked, do Americans trust Candace? I can't speak for all Americans, but us over here, no, we don't trust her. Because she will say vile things, we will critique her, and the second she hits a little tragedy, she'll run over and say, hey, big head to us, and expect us to turn back and hug her. And we're like, no, we're good on you. You wanted to go in the mud with them folk over there shitting on us. Cool. Do that. Don't get pissed at us because they found pictures of your child, the first one, on your Facebook, and they went in on it, and you couldn't do content off of it because you thought it was black people that went after your child. And you kind of find out it was nothing but white and Hispanics. So she don't post pictures of her kids no more. And some of them are on Reddit, but we're not searching for that. No, we don't trust Candace Owens because Candace Owens, as she has admitted when she got fired from Daily Wire, that going after black people was allowed and encouraged. No, we don't trust Candace Owens because Candace Owens, as I said before, she'll go in front of black people like at the Revolt Summit in 2019 and say all the right things and get black people back on her side. And then 3 years later, when Derek Chauvin gets convicted of killing George Floyd, she'll run on Fox News and have a fucking meltdown, saying how wrong the justice system is. So no, we don't trust her. And even in this situation, you can go on X right now and find all the black conservatives. They're either on her side, not really, or they're against her, or the new third one that's come up, they're telling her, go ahead, Candy, just burn it all down. So no, we don't trust her. And right now, I don't trust Andrew Yang on the TV, but we're going to let him finish cooking.
It's a great question. First of all, your interview was amazing. It's one of my favorite ones to look back on. Charlie connected with you very well. And I can always tell when he does on his show. I've always watched his show. And I could always tell because his questions and his engagement would shift. And he always loved that conversation with you. As the CEO of Turning Point USA, it is my responsibility to make sure that our youth is in good hands.
Can we protect the children, please? Can we please protect the children? That's your answer for being a CEO? We have to protect the children? So y'all couldn't win over adults. You're going now to the progeny. Again, I can't wait for Surviving Turning Point USA's documentaries to start dropping. The teenagers have already come out and said that they were doing vile things there. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Our chapter leaders are amazing. And there's some leaders within those groups you guys have not even seen or heard about yet, but you will one day.
They're already having the operatives come out. So she's basically saying we ain't even seen the worst come out yet. They're getting the thorough indoctrination now. Black family, Tabernacle. I think it's time for us to really sit our kids down. We're going to have to teach them. Thank you, Erika, for that. Thank you.
And you'll be blown away because they are amazing kids. We had 2 of them at our gala event this weekend, and they spoke in front of our donors. It was the first time I ever met them. Phenomenal kids. Not only are they smart, they have a heart. Not only do they have a heart, they can understand and see the Gen Z landscape in a way that we can't.
Man. And Generation AA is coming right behind them. Pause. Okay. But didn't y'all say Gen Z was so stupid? All they care about is TikTok? Oh, okay. All right. The generation that's watching right now, their older siblings struggle to navigate this world because the government's fucking everything up. And now they're going through it now because a lot of them are starting to either go to college or starting to graduate college, and they can't get no work. You think that they're going to listen to y'all. Okay. The delusion is great.
And from a peer-to-peer communication level, they're phenomenal. So I personally, having a front row seat to the rising generation, the courageous generation, they're amazing. Yes, there are bad apples. Millennials, we got them too. So do the baby boomers. So does Gen X. No one's escaping the bad apples. It's just the batch. But it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our team's responsibility to make sure that our chapters are cultivating those leaders. So when they leave high school and they decide not to go to college, they're in the workforce.
Your husband didn't go to the workforce though. So where's this? Oh. So you trying to push trades on these kids, but they also supposed to go to the Turning Point USA bullshit. Oh, okay. All right. So what I'm gathering is y'all are going to have these enhanced Turning Point USA high school diplomas. Oh, okay. By the way, ma'am, I would love for you to answer, since your husband can't do it now, I would love for you to answer why y'all employed a teacher who sexually assaulted a female student at y'all's Dream Academy in Arizona. I would love for you to answer that question. I think the people would like to know that.
Being incredible people and incredible leaders. They might not be influencers. Not everyone's meant to. Everyone plays a very specific role.
Look at this loser.
But they'll be someone in something very important, and they'll plant seeds. And that's all you have to do is plant the seed. And then let truth grow from there. But thank you again for the time that you spent with my husband on that final conversation. It meant a lot to him. It means a lot to me to be able to have that to show my babies one day.
Thanks, Rob. Coming up, should women focus on their careers or building their families? We'll ask Erika Kirk, which
She's about to wait. You're about to ask her a feminism question? Oh shit!
she believes as a mom and now as a CEO. Charlie's last book, it wasn't about politics. It wasn't about policy. It was about the Jewish Sabbath, which he kept for 25 hours, starting sundown on Friday night through sundown on Saturday night. What made Charlie so passionate about this subject?
He was on the verge of burnout.
Okay. Hey, jackass. Who cares? Okay, great. Obama might be married to a man. So what? Is that supposed to be a gotcha? I told y'all. What did I tell y'all the other day about MAGA? Obama's their favorite president. Why are you bringing up Obama? But again, y'all can't keep black people off your mind. Go ahead. Well, he half black, but y'all know what I mean.
And he thought to himself, what can I be doing? And he always loved the 10 Commandments. And then he saw it, honoring the Sabbath. And he realized that if you
it was three
don't,
hard
this
ways.
one commandment, this one, if you don't honor it, you're the one who misses out on the gift, not God.
Are you keeping it?
I'm trying my best.
Is it helping?
It is. I feel close to him. I break it apart, though. So instead of a full 24 straight, I'll break it apart only because my mom's sick and I need to be available because I'm her medical power of attorney. So I need to be available if something happens. And so I make it what works for me. But that's what was so beautiful about that. Charlie wasn't legalistic about it. He's like, make it your own.
Erika, you have made a lot of comments that a lot of people have noticed about women, suggesting, you know this, right? Suggesting that women should get married young, that they should have children young, that they should prioritize family over their careers. And at the same time, you are now doing both. You now have 2 young children, I think both under the age of 3. And you're the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Square that for us. Some people look at you and say, you know, she's trying to make it a binary choice. You can be the trad wife or the girl boss, but look at her. She's having both. What do you say to them?
Right. Well, I didn't ask for this. Obviously it's a blessing that I view it as a blessing. It's a duty to my husband. But I was very happy being a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's actually more beautiful and emotional and powerful job title, if you will, being a mother. And for me, I experienced what it was like living in New York, living that boss babe culture. But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat. Always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and I, and his mission was my mission. So stepping into this role is not so much a job title. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. This is something that I'm very passionate about because it's still a remaining breathing version of my husband, this Turning Point USA. So this organization is not just a company to me. And the staff and employees are not staff and employees, they're family. And so for me, it's a lot different and a lot deeper than a career. This is very personal. But yes, it is hard. But at the same day, it takes a village. And I have one heck of a village.
We have a woman here that has...
You also have a taste for $10,000 plates. You went to Mar-a-Lago for an event where they charge $10K a plate. I mean, get it if you can get it. But we know that chicken was dry.
Is a question perfectly calibrated to this part of our conversation. I want to hand it over to Isabella Reggi.
Thank you. And Erika, you and your family are in my prayers.
Thank you.
I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City.
I noticed too, and y'all gonna see this later, they didn't ask one black person to speak since he loved black people so much, according to her.
like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities who care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative man?
Well, yeah. So
What kind of dumbass question is that? She lives literally outside of Phoenix. Oh, Jesus Christ. So where you gonna go, man? Where you gonna go? Please tell us where these conservative towns are. Where are they, sir? Where are they, man? Tell us, because there must be some list that we're not seeing of these conservative towns where everybody's walking around like Desperate Housewives and Seventh Heaven mixed. Come on now. Where is this? Y'all's conservatives, you got a whole bunch of conservatives living in fucking Nashville. Nashville's not conservative. Some of them live in DC. DC damn sure ain't conservative. Some of them live outside Orlando. Orlando's not conservative. There's a couple of them down here in Atlanta. Atlanta's not conservative. You have some of them in Texas. Texas is not conservative like that in them cities. They're not. All y'all's conservatives live in metro areas of Democrat cities. Go want to bitch about the Democrat city. Where we do this at?
Get to work!
But we keep forgetting that they're actually liberals.
So it just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know.
Oh, shit. What Christian is promoting apps? You see how she didn't say Christian mingle first, but go ahead.
I'm not going to ask you your personal journey, but what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
You're a goddamn lie.
Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting,
that's called capitalism,
to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for?
And right there is where she's going to lead them kids astray, and them kids are going to end up on OnlyFans. You going to go to a pastor? A pastor. Okay. Pastor.
Or you yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens.
Then Lifetime and been lying all these years, right? By the way, screenshot.
It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it. You went to a job and literally. So this is how good the.
There was a reason why I brought up pastor, since she wants this girl to find somebody like Charlie. I don't think she would want to have a man brought to her through a pastor like Charlie had.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
Do y'all see that name? I think y'all see that name. Rob McCoy. What did Rob McCoy do? We're gonna show you. Rob McCoy got arrested. Rob McCoy and his kid talking about some, oh, my son was there the day Charlie died. I have the blood on his shirt. Sounding like Jesse Jackson. And what happened? They debunked him. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's the kind of pastor you want that young girl to go mentor under, because you want a guy like Charlie. Setting that girl up for failure.
Lord is, he knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't. But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the pen for him to write your love story. And when you know that, look, if I remain in the jet stream of God's will, he will provide for me in ways I cannot even imagine. And that is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is to remain open and to remain prayerful and to let people around you know, old school style, I'm ready and I'm looking to get married and having a family. You can always have your career. Being able to have a family truly is a very limited, short window. You can start your career. If you have people and it's amazing business, have other people run it. You can still manage it. You can still pour into it, but you have your babies. And then once your babies are grown and the nest is empty, go back to your career. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have a career, you have your babies, the Lord's going to inspire something inside of you that you're like, you know what? There's a problem. I have a solution. How many baby companies have been born out of moms? You know, like the little carrier seat or a stroller or something.
We live for that carrier seat.
Right. 100%. I'm not trying to plug them for like something. So I'm just trying not to even say the name, but you understand my sentiment is that there's something really special and beautiful about making sure that you are the woman that your future husband deserves and vice versa. Do not settle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabella. Up next, the emotional moment that Erika Kirk forgave her husband's.
I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Erika, that moment that we just watched was unforgettable. I was one of millions of people across the world that watched you get up on that stage and forgive the man who murdered your husband. And I think a lot of people looked at it and thought, this is incomprehensible. It's almost baffling. And I want you to speak to those who are unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil.
Mm-hmm.
What I am doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands where he could have a foothold in me and he could be able to just, like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival? And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
If you were to meet the man, I won't name him again, accused of murdering your husband, do you know what you would say to him?
Nothing.
You would say nothing.
I have nothing to say to you. Nothing.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
I want to bring in our final audience question for tonight. I want to turn it over to Joe Lavoie.
Hi, thank you. Your faith in this process has been inspiring, and that inspires this question. How are you able to trust God amidst unfair and immense suffering?
Woo!
One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Job. And what's so powerful about that book is that you read it and you go along and you say, how could bad things happen to good people? But what happens at the end of that book? God does restore. He does. Even more so than Job had prior. But when did that happen? It happened when Job prayed for his friends. Even though they were against him, even though there was all this drama, he prayed for his friends. You can call them enemies. That's not saying, oh, Lord, my enemies, no. There's boldness in being able to say, Lord, do what only you can do. And the Lord restored what Job had lost. That's how.
We'll be right back. I want to thank Erika Kirk so much for joining me tonight. And I also want to thank our audience for participating in this town hall. CBS News is going to have many more conversations like this in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned. More town halls, more debates, more talking about the things that matter. I'm Barry Weiss here in New York. Good night.
Thank God that's over with. Okay, there's that. That was a slog to get through. Anyway, let's see if anybody got something to say. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that there. And I'm going to go into the Candace Owens stuff now. Let's hear what she said. Now, her shit was like 40 minutes. I ain't finna listen to 40 minutes. I just want to get the real flavor of what it is. So we gonna skip a little bit. No, we're not. Fuck that. Let me see. Let's begin.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in.
All right. So make this fast so we could listen to what's her name.
You guys are absolutely crazy.
Hello.
I was about to fall asleep. I'm sorry. I didn't know you was about to play the ball. I was about to fall asleep listening to that bitch. That irritated me when she said something about millennials. Don't do that, man. I don't want to be associated as a millennial with you. Please don't ever associate yourself and me as millennials. Don't do that. You don't do that. Tommy Lahren don't do that. Please don't. I almost fell asleep because she's boring as hell. And within a year, ain't nobody gonna like this woman. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cause God knows she is boring as hell. Don't answer questions.
She finna be fun this weekend.
Oh, that's for AmFest. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where is AmFest in Florida?
Nah, Phoenix.
Phoenix. That Grinder app from LA and Vegas. Yeah, because Vegas is a 4 hour drive, I think, from LA and Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, that Grinder app about to go crazy. But yeah, let me get off.
Pause. All right, let's see what Candace said. Go ahead, Candy. Burn it down, Candy.
The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe it. This has all just been a show. Calm down, okay? What do you think happened? Erika said, stop. And then I was frozen for 4 hours and 30 minutes, just like, as I just put all of these talking points into my head. That is not what happened. I keep telling you guys, I am not governable. I am basically akin to Kanye West. I never felt more seen than when he tweeted a lot of years ago, just fired my manager because I realized I can't be managed. That is me. That tweet right there, I was like, oh gosh, yes, Kanye, that I get this. Okay. Nobody is changing their mind anything. Well, how ridiculous would it have been if I'm doing all of this, investigating, asking all of these questions, and then Erika Kirk offers to answer some of these questions. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I can't betray people. I don't want any answers to the questions. I just want to ask them. No, this is the entire reason we are doing this. We've been looking at the situation going, why can't Turning Point USA just answer basic questions? And I can tell you guys that yesterday for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. They said you can ask us any question that you want, anything that's on your mind, which I appreciated. And some of you guys are thinking, who is they? Who is they? It's the Jews, obviously. Just kidding. It's Justin Strife. Justin Strife was in the room. Joined me just for the beginning portion of the conversation because he had that thing going on that I told you he was in a conference. And then I brought my cousin Mia, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes and just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this.
She must have listened to what I said the other day when I said you better bring people with you before you get jumped. Okay, go ahead.
Person doing here. And the reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music. But she's my cousin and I always have her around. And so that was it. She was kind of sitting a little bit away, but at the table, it was really just the four of us until George left. And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect going into the room. I did not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know what Erika's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument, if there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? And the conversation.
I know she's pissed off. I didn't mean to stop her. I know she's pissed off because she got 55,000 dislikes on this video. Now the likes are more. We're just gonna put that out there as context, but god damn. Girl, 3 billion views in a day. I ain't even mad at it. Go ahead.
Conversation started with Justin Strife very sensibly saying, what are we looking to accomplish here? Like, what is the actual aim of this conversation? And he was pretty clear, and Erika was very clear, that they were sort of most upset with obviously a bit of a fever pitch, when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning, like casually, when I mentioned the Catholicism thing. Like, what was that about? I was like, look, I say something in a tribute to him. Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is clearly aimed at me. And they've teased the interview. It's like aimed at me, but they never say my name. And that to me felt like it was the first, the first bit of mud that was slung, which their answer for that was, hey, that was a really crazy time. A new system had to be put into place. And by no means did Erika give any person the authority to go out and say that the Catholicism thing was a lie. It kind of turned into this big thing. Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that we wanted to sit down. I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional, and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colvett told me specifically that he was one of the people that received the text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that when she heard me say that, they then went and looked, and yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete copy of what Dan Flood got the night before, and I said no. Somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that the they that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning, because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things. And that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That does not surprise me. That's kind of why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously picked those questions. They were not random, like I told you. It wasn't like people were coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know what they were going to get. It was all very much planned by Barry. But Erika said that she knew the general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster, Candace Owens, question. So I think that's fair to clear that up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree with me about particular people at Turning Point USA. I communicated what I communicated in front of the whole world. My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times, and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream, and I said every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new, and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell, and I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I just has to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on Twitter, because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense, but it's not a reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy, he makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it. I look at him and he's a bad person and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we?
He was part of Turning Point Faith. By the way, screenshot. So you're not going to answer for the offshoot. You're going to try to answer for the direct company. Okay. Still has Turning Point in the name, but okay, go ahead.
To assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess, to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot of things. So I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where I still don't understand it, and the magic bullet. Okay. Now, we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage. There was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet. And he said he wanted to address all of the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize, it's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it, this miracle, the healthy bone. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like, eek. That kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately people in the comments responded to Andrew, and this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate HIPAA. Like, there's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon. And then Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said he spoke to the surgeon, and they confirmed that Andrew spoke to the surgeon, but that they did not know that he was going to write that tweet. They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So, like, it very much came across to be like Andrew was just flying by the seat of his pants. I don't know. Like, he was just flying dark on. And I was like, that seems very strange to me, because why would a surgeon do that? Like, the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know, in theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but, Andrew was not one of the people that got into the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon. And so that just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore. So that was kind of him, just getting out there and perhaps trying to rescue his own reputation. And I think that only made his reputation worse, actually, because people rightfully sensed that he wasn't telling the truth in that interview, that he was being cagey, that he was saying things that didn't make any sense. Again, you constantly have these people that believe, like Brian Harpole, that with enough performance, he can sit down and you're just going to convince people that this is real. And
girl, get to the show. Did she cuss you out?
Affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers, in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also said to them was, and I said this in front of the lawyer, because I don't know why I'm like this. I was like, you might need a new lawyer. I was like, because this person's trying to sell to you that this is solid. One of the rules that me and my husband have is that if you have a lawyer that tells you, like, you're 100% going to win, it's very clear that you're going to win, you need a new lawyer. Okay, that's a cheerleader. That's not a lawyer. A lawyer, even if you should 100% win, should be telling you the risks here. I feel good about this case. case. Like, let me talk real to you. I feel good about this case, but here's where things could go wrong. I want you to understand those risks that are involved. We don't have this yet. We don't have that yet. And especially given what I told them, which is your lawyers, or the investigators rather, not their lawyers, because they're not the ones investigating. It's the state of Utah that's investigating. They have not called the one solitary person, as I told you guys, who filmed as he was on the roof. Remember the guy that's like, oh, there's somebody on the roof, and he sees him crouched down. I said, I spoke to that person, and his testimony would be devastating to your prosecution. He did not, he saw the person on the roof. He filmed the person on the roof at 12:23 p.m. and he did not see that person take the shot. And this is not some random student. This is a guy who trains people to shoot guns at a range. He knows guns. Okay. He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said,
Jesus Christ. So she's almost like, I'm bored. I want to know if she cussed you out. You talking about white boys and all these other things. Yeah, I'm done shit. I tried, fam. I can't do it. The chick is not, she's not engaging. She used to be engaging and we could sit here and just critique the whole thing. She might need Piers Morgan. I think so. And apparently, let me check that real fast. Because remember, Piers said that he was supposed to talk to her this week. Let me check. Maybe they talked already. Let me look. She did. And it just dropped an hour ago. We finna watch that. Maybe it's more entertaining. Y'all are getting a bonus. She already looks weird. Let's get to the show.
For me, some would put it, but you're always a welcome guest on Uncensored. Let's get to this extraordinary meeting that you had with Erika Kirk. It came right after we saw her say in that CBS town hall, you should stop with the conspiracy theories. So who approached who about you guys actually getting together?
I was approached by Turning Point after Blake Neff, who works on Charlie's show, sort of fumbled this invite. It was, I'd almost say, like a fake invite publicly. And then in the middle of the night said, oh, Candace is not able to be here tomorrow. And they never messaged me. And I think there was quite a bit of public backlash with how they went about it. It just was just not the way that we try to set meetings. And so what happened after was they reached out to me, said Erika would agree to do a live stream, just the two of us. And then after Erika's PR blitz, they reached out again and said that they felt that it was better for us to meet one-on-one as opposed to us sitting down having Megyn Kelly moderate, which was the idea originally.
Right. And so where did you have your summit meeting?
At a hotel here in Nashville.
And a lot of as you know, a lot of your supporters, fans of your show, think that you may have been lured into a trap. Did anything while you were there make you think you were being lured into a trap?
I don't know that a lot of my fans think that I was being lured into a trap. I think ahead of time, they had some concerns, obviously, because I think in general, after you see a public assassination and you start tracking so many lies that are happening, there's going to be an understandable amount of angst that people feel. And I certainly felt the angst as well. I've obviously been very clear that I am suspicious of some of the characters that are at Turning Point USA. So I totally understand why the public was concerned.
When you saw Erika, she was obviously angry about you in that CBS town hall. What was her demeanor like when you met her?
Well, I don't think that she thought she was angry in that. I think maybe that was the characterization from the public. I certainly thought she was angry as well. And she sort of clarified that she was a bit annoyed by the questioning, the way in which Barry had set up the question with the podcaster, Candace Owens, which I think was definitely being driven more by Barry Weiss's feelings towards me, long-running feelings towards me, than it was perhaps for the benefit of CBS and trying to pretend to be an impartial journalist. So I think she was frustrated by the line of questioning, is what she explained to me.
So how would you categorize the 4.5 hours? If you were looking at it in totality, what was the tone of the conversation? What do you think you both got out of it?
Well, for me, answers to the questions of trying to understand why there were so many Turning Point lies and why instead of people acknowledging that these are lies, I felt that there was this billion-dollar psychological operation to convince people that, yeah, this is just crazy. These aren't lies. These are made up. And so I was very refreshed that they owned up to the lies. That was a great first step. And I think, you know, what motivates that? Maybe because despite having what I would assume to be the best PR agents and crisis PR agents in the world, we're moving toward a different world where people don't really care. You know, if you are friends with the people at, WME and CAA and what they can do for you, that sort of power is ineffectual in this day and age. And so I think they recognize that, and that the public simply doesn't believe the story that they've been fed, and the psychological operation to convince us not to believe our own eyes or to trust our common sense instincts has failed. And I think on their end, they got more clarity on how I figured out certain things, more clarity on why I am convinced that there are people that are inside of Turning Point that are dirty. And I was able to share more with them off record. And I think that they got more clarity in exchange.
Before we get into some of the sort of specifics, is there not a danger here? I've already seen it in some of the reaction from people that follow your show. Is there not a danger that in seeking to be the one that exposes the truth? And I don't know the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I work on the assumption that this lone, twisted, weirdo Tyler Robinson killed him for whatever reason. And I suspect personally that is how this will play out. However, I have an open mind in the sense that we still don't really know what happened with President Kennedy's assassination. I found the attempted assassination of Donald Trump very odd in the way that's been handled by the authorities and so on. I'm not naive. As a journalist of 40 years, I'm not naive enough to say every single thing you've been saying is obviously baloney, because I don't know. And we'll get to some of the more specific details. But is there not a danger, Candace, that by having a 4.5-hour private meeting, rather than doing it in public, that all you're really going to do collectively, actually, you and Erika Kirk, is fuel the conspiracy theories about what you may or may not have discussed in that meeting, what part of the stuff that you've been broadcasting on your show she agrees with and doesn't agree with, and so on. Is there not a danger this is the least transparent way of going about trying to get solutions here?
Well, I'm a very transparent person, so my preference was to do it publicly, but I took the offer, obviously, to have any conversation, because if I hadn't done that, then I think everything I've been doing would have appeared disingenuous. Like, oh, Candace is pretending that she wants answers to her questions, but when she got this offer, she suddenly said she didn't want to go because it wasn't public. They would have felt like I was moving the goalpost. So I was willing to take anything. And from their viewpoint, they felt like after the CBS News and the Fox News hits that Erika did, it was, my understanding was that they felt that it was a good idea to bring the temperature down first by having us sit down and communicate. And that doesn't mean that they necessarily say, oh, well, that's it. Now we're not going to have any other public discussion. I'm hopeful they will. I think they should. I totally agree with you. More transparency, the better.
Who else was in the meeting? Erika was there. Who else was there?
Justin Strife, who is the COO of Turning Point USA. And my husband was only there for a portion of it, and my cousin.
So there were no lawyers, for example?
No lawyers. But they did phone their lawyer because I asked the question. I was like, look, I'm open to being wrong, obviously. If there is something, which I think the media was kind of hinting at, that they had more, but they couldn't share it with the public, I said, I'm happy to keep my mouth shut. And I want to feel good walking out of here that there is something there. There is some sort of a smoking gun. And I will tell viewers just to be patient. And so they did call one of the lawyers working on this case, and it was not convincing at all. He said, in effect, all we have is what the public has seen. And we won't know more because we're investigating and looking for more. And so that just made me go, why is everybody being so over the top and ridiculous and using words like the evidence is overwhelming, it was Tyler Robinson, when they don't have anything that's overwhelming to show that it's, they don't have a video of him taking the shot, which I think was something that I assumed, like, okay, there's all these cameras, maybe they actually have that video and they're waiting for a moment to release that to the public. They don't have that. Or at least I can say Erika's side has not seen that. And the lawyer communicated to me that they would not have access to that until earliest would be May, that right now they're just investigating, just like we're doing back at home.
You said that your motive for going to the meeting was that you would be able to come out and tell the world Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. So
wrong. That was not her intention for the meeting. It was to do this. That's your girl. He's not a wizard. He's a warlock.
Are you in a position to say that? Do you believe, as a consequence of your 4.5 hours with Erika, do you believe that it is now most likely that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Absolutely not. I haven't seen one piece of compelling evidence that Tyler Robinson scaled the rooftops like Spider-Man on a college campus that he didn't go to and fired one shot, a magic bullet shot, and killed Charlie Kirk. I have not seen one piece of compelling evidence. In fact, I've seen more compelling evidence to the contrary.
You've seen their vibrant.
So put on the full armor of God, Jesus Christ. I love you, God. Hell, a true Jesus Christ.
Politics are so much fun.
That she trusted her team, and her lawyer was using kind of the same rhetoric that the media has been using, where there's really, this is like, it's overwhelming. Maybe he didn't say the word overwhelming, but he was like, it's very clear, I think is what he said in particular. And then I pushed back and I said, what's clear? The affidavit? That's all you guys have? And I did tell him, if you would never be my lawyer, because it's just, a lawyer that's just kind of giving you adjectives, and I don't need a cheerleader. I need someone to be practical and to say, we don't have anything yet. I think the communication should be, we are hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to uncover more evidence that links Tyler Robinson to this crime. I do feel confident that he was involved in some capacity on that day. As I have said many times on my show, I was the one who broke the story that he was at the Dairy Queen throwing out clothes, a local Dairy Queen throwing out clothes in a nearby cemetery. And so I do think he was involved, and multiple people were involved that day. And I think he did pick up clothes. I had communication with Lance's family. I had communication with Tyler Robinson's family. And for some reason, Lance is being protected, which I find to be very strange. His own family thinks he's guilty of more. And they find it weird that the feds kind of glossed over him, almost as though he was a Fed operative, like he was working on behalf of them. And we've caught the feds have lied a lot. It's just a fact. Turning Point USA people have lied a lot. That is a fact, which they have agreed to. They said that these were mistakes, but they, whether a mistake or not, the public was lied to. So this obviously, matters deeply to me. And it's just absurd that people would think that I'm doing this for clicks. I knew Charlie. Charlie and I are very close. And it has been one of the most disgusting things ever that people first and foremost tried to start this psychological operation that Charlie and I hadn't spoken since 2019. They've lied about virtually everything that I've said on my podcast. I'm not going to let this go. Okay. We don't live in a country that is the embodiment of democratic principles. If Charlie Kirk gets publicly executed and the media apparatus is doing everything they can to cover the tracks, I would say to cover the tracks by demanding that there is no further inquiry into what happened on that day. That is not a country that I can get behind.
Let's get to some of the details, because it seems to me you've put up a lot of theories, but a lot of them don't seem to have a clear conclusion from you about what you actually think happened. I mean, you've been all over this now ever since Charlie was killed. What do you believe happened to him? Who do you think killed him?
So I can't tell you definitively who pulled the trigger. I'm not going to lie to audiences and just put something out there that's not real. But what I can say is I feel convinced that the feds were involved. I can tell you that. I think the feds were involved in staging a cover-up. I think Kash Patel knows what happened and did not happen on that day.
Ooh. So she's now name dropping Kash Patel.
I prayed for this and it happened.
Kash Patel. By the way, screenshot number 2 for her. That's crazy look.
I am convinced by me being told by people that are feds that he is not acting right and that he is not wanting to share any information. Just a couple of people are allowed to even see anything. A fed told me that they can't even touch the Charlie Kirk file without risk of being fired, and that he's grown increasingly mad. The U.S. Marshals that were there when they were doing the quote unquote manhunt for 33 hours said that Kash Patel effectively sent them on a wild goose chase, which is what was signaled to the public when he said, we got him, and it was actually the wrong person. And so it caused people to stop looking because they were convinced they had the shooter. They felt that that was in order to allow the real perpetrators of the crimes to get away.
But that could just be the fog of the immediacy of these things. We've seen it at Brown University. Exactly the same thing. They thought they had the killer. They thought they had the killer. It turned out to be the wrong person. Right? It doesn't mean there's any great conspiracy by the feds to cover anything up. And again, even if what you're saying is true, I don't know. Maybe you're right. If what you're saying is true, what is it they're covering up? You've so far intimated or inferred something weird involving Egyptian planes. So, what's that about? You've inferred perhaps Israeli involvement in some way. You've certainly inferred a lot of Turning Point USA involvement. That's a lot of people getting involved here in the murder of Charlie Kirk potentially. But what I'm really curious about is, given you've been all over all this and you've been airing all these theories, well, which one is it? It can't be all of these things. Is it somebody?
Well, of course,
is it someone at Turning Point USA?
And
I mean, who do you actually believe was behind this?
Of course, it can be all of those things. And what's really ironic here is that there's a clip of Charlie in the last months leading up to his death where he speaks about the JFK assassination. And he says that multiple countries were involved, multiple people were involved, the LBJ was involved, the feds were involved. And he's correct. That is what it means. When there is a conspiracy, there are multiple people that are involved. Of course, there's not one person on a grassy knoll who shot JFK.
Well, it might have been
there are people who had to agree to it. The Dallas police were involved.
Candace,
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your
but my
question.
point is,
why aren't you just going to point to one person?
That
to me, even that seems like a part of telling people not to believe their own gut. Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. Now, who knows what their motivations are? Doesn't mean maybe this person's like, hey, I'm going to help you.
Hang on. Okay, let me stop you. Hang on. When you say obviously somebody at Turning Point, you are accusing right now people that worked with Charlie Kirk at the company he built, which is now run by his widow. You are directly accusing people in that company of being complicit in his murder, right?
I want to just be very clear connecting that dot. So I said that when there is a conspiracy, of course, there are going to be multiple people involved. So applying that same logic to JFK, right? Knowing, as I do, and as Charlie did believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds as having been involved, which then implicates the Dallas police station as being involved. I believe Israel was obviously involved, that they were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA. So there's motive. There are people that have to be involved on the ground that day. There are people that have to be willing to allow the perpetrators to get away. There has to be media that's complicit. And that's what literally Operation Mockingbird was. It was established
to persuade
the public.
Candace, here's the problem.
Well, hang on. It was established. So
but here's the problem with everything you're saying.
In this massive cover-up.
You keep saying, and this is where people think you're prone to endless conspiracy theories for whatever reason, is you keep using the phrase, they have to have been involved. So by that yardstick, what you're saying is, with JFK's assassination, and we recently had a lot of the files released, which did not conclusively prove any of these things, right? Now, again, I don't know what happened to JFK, but the one possibility you've not ruled in is it was just as simple as Lee Harvey Oswald. It might have been. We don't know. Right, so when you say the media has to have been involved, Lyndon Johnson has to have been. But my problem is you're stating all these things as facts.
We can't do 63. So it's such a nonsense to say that it was Lee Harvey Oswald.
You don't know that.
That's just such a nonsense. Okay, yeah, no, I do know it was not Lee Harvey Oswald acting by himself, and then that required national security to lock down the files. That required the feds to impart, the CIA to impart Operation Mockingbird to convince the public that it was you can't go against. There's a grieving widow. Don't look further into it. Don't believe your own eyes.
Let me just say this is your Candace.
This is a grand conspiracy that killed JFK. I am going to say that confidently. And I just think we have to grow up. We have to grow up. We can't keep pretending Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK. We can't keep doing that.
That is your opinion. Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of the optimum.
Don't care. She getting mad, and we about 20 minutes in. Let's get it.
Oh, that's a fact.
No, it's not a fact.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
It's a fact.
The whole reason there are still conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination is none of this is a fact. You are floating it as your theory.
Because the feds are never going to admit to their own crimes. That is the reason we're still discussing it.
That may be the case, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, well, I can prove common sense that Lee Harvey Oswald did not stand on a grassy knoll and assassinate a president. And LBJ, like Charlie says in that clip, which people should go pursue.
Yes, I know Charlie
all
said
of the
that.
weird things that happened that day that were unusual, and LBJ decided not to ride that day. And then suddenly he reversed course on all of JFK's policies, and he was fighting AIPAC. Israel killed JFK. Now, going back to your point about Turning Point USA and the ridiculous idea that implicating, this is a $100 million organization. Common sense. If this was not even a high-profile political assassination, and this was just a guy who worked at a company that was $100 million, right? Common sense inquiry is, was there a financial motive for this person to be dead? Okay. This is like Sherlock Holmes 101. And this is what I mean when I say that the public no longer trusts the media because you're acting us to be stupid. And we don't want to do that. We actually don't want to pretend that we're clinical idiots who can't assess things and go, oh, there could be a massive motive here to have Charlie dead, especially when it seems very strange that Bibi Netanyahu, when nobody even had a clue of what happened, this guy's doing the rounds on Fox News and saying, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. That's kind of weird. Did you feel compelled to jump on to Piers Morgan's show and say, just so everybody knows, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk? Why would he say that? Why was he so involved as somebody who's fighting a 97,000 front war?
Candace, I want to get to the reality of what you're actually saying. So when you say that somebody at Turning Point USA, Charlie's company, was complicit in his murder, who was?
I believe that there were multiple people at Turning Point who are, as I have said many times, my exact words are, they are engaged in a cover-up of what happened to Charlie on that day.
No, but who was involved in his murder?
Ooh, here we go.
I didn't say they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
I believe
Sorry,
that
you didn't.
thoroughly.
Candace, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that
they
on
were,
my entire
You said
show.
there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
When you and I were discussing, that's why I said, let's go back. I was applying the logic of a conspiracy to JFK. I said, okay, JFK, you have people that are complicit. Of course, if you apply that logic, if there is a conspiracy, there's going to be multiple people that are going to be complicit by the time, in order for a large stage murder to
You
happen.
specifically said, you didn't say complicit in a cover-up. You said complicit in the murder. Because I said, who at Turning Point was involved in his murder? And
let
you
me
said,
clarify for you. Okay, you can keep saying what I said, or you can listen to what I am saying.
Okay.
When I was using the analogy of JFK and we were connecting it, I was basically pushing back on you because you were suggesting that all of these people being involved would be crazy. So I was applying the analogy
I don't know.
JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen,
I don't know.
Suggesting that a
I said
conspiracy.
you don't know either. You're floating theories.
When we started talking about the JFK thing,
listen, let me make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts.
Candace, let me
correctly.
spell out my thought very clearly.
You're right, GDS. She out here rapping.
I told you punk ass niggas to get off the motherfucking timeline and rap. That's the problem. You niggas be crying. You niggas be bitching. You niggas need to fucking rap. When you can't nobody else come up here if they not rapping like that. Stay your punk ass at home.
She rapping. Oh my God. What's it with y'all these alpacas, boy? You gotta listen. $50,000. You blot that shit. You don't just wipe it. Put the club soda on it. Come on now. Put the club soda on it.
Talking about JFK, the implication that you were making was that it was crazy to suggest that multiple people could have been involved at different levels. I was then connecting the dots and saying that in order for the JFK assassination to happen, there had to have been tons of people that were complicit, right?
I heard what you said.
Maybe you're the person who takes the cameras down. Maybe you're the person that told him to drive that day. Maybe you're LBJ. So they're not all complicit in the murder, but they're all at different varying stages involved in the cover-up, right? So that's what a grand conspiracy actually is. I do believe, so you don't have to go back and we don't have to go through it. I'm telling you what I think about Turning Point. I am very known for being honest about what I believe. I'm not exactly a person that you got to pull teeth on.
Sure.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I can't make that. I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger.
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erika and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names to?
She says she got receipts. I love this. Burn it down, Candy.
Did you give the names to Erika?
Yes, I absolutely did.
You gave the names to Erika of 2 employees,
here dry
Turning Point, who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into.
And what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been
so you've got no
responsible.
evidence, but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem.
Well, the evidence for it is people that there is not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence you've got.
You're asking me privately, did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers, okay? So what you're doing is a strategy of like, if somebody dies, you're saying, please, you can't ask any questions about anybody unless you have concrete evidence. We're at the stage of investigation.
I'm not saying
yes,
that.
You can. And let me give people in the public the permission to do this. Follow your instinct. If you feel something is off, keep asking questions until you get concrete evidence. And when you have concrete evidence, you should name those people. I don't have the concrete evidence.
You have named
I
other
find
people.
there inconsistencies.
But you have named other
I'm trying
people.
to answer, Piers, you can't ask me questions. You can't ask me questions. Let me finish it. I have communicated to them that their inconsistencies make me uncomfortable. I have communicated to them that somebody else who is a third party gave me some information that I am not yet comfortable as I am vetting it, giving it to the public, because that's the responsible thing to do. These are private citizens. And that if I were in their shoes and had more access to information, I would go down that route. Okay. Unless I am fully confident that they actually did have something to do, like here is the smoking gun, I'm not going to name those people.
Okay.
But the people I have named thus far are people that I believe are engaged in a cover up. Like I said, hold me accountable for
well,
what
let's
I have
talk
said,
about one of those
okay?
people. Let's talk about one of those people
Cool.
because the Turning Point producer, Blake Neff, wrote this in early December. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for the show. She has made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. Now, let's move then to, you said on your podcast that new information was given to you in your meeting with Erika Kirk about Mikey McCoy that's now satisfied you. On a video on the 27th of October, you devoted a whole episode to this guy and his supposedly
I never
strange
said
behavior.
I have information that satisfied me about Mikey McCoy.
Well, okay, well, I'll ask you to
That's not a direct
clarify.
quote.
Okay, well,
She just corrected the white boy.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Yo, she's cooking this white man. But this is her get back for the last time, because the last time Piers made her look stupid. So she came prepared this time, bro.
clarify that in a moment. But let's hear what you said about Mikey McCoy before the meeting.
So we decided to slow this clip down, and we're going to watch this clip slow down so you can see that it is exactly 834 milliseconds from the time that you hear the shot. That is how long it takes for Mikey McCoy to put the phone to his ear. Now, why is that precise timing so important? Because there's no dialing. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds.
Now, what was the new information that you got in your meeting with Erika about Mikey McCoy?
So I'm sorry, your gotcha is not going too well, but I never then said, I am now satisfied that Mikey put the phone to his ear. What I presented to the public.
No, I didn't say that. Sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, you did say
No,
you have
inferred on your
satisfied.
podcast. Well, let me give you the chance to clarify. It's a very familiar story.
How is she cook? How is this white man letting her cook him like this? Jesus.
You'd received new information about Mikey McCoy, which had changed your mind. Would that be the best way to categorize it, or changed
No,
some
I
of
never
your
said
mind?
that. I just presented it. Well, the only thing that I clarified on my podcast, if that's what they're getting wrong, is that some people thought that he was using a nickname that was his middle name, and actually his real name is Michael, like first name Michael, because I was like trying to find something, and I was like, oh, maybe he's actually using his middle name. So that's what I clarified on my podcast.
And you were given
Beyond
call
that,
logs. Is
I
that right?
presented.
You were shown call logs. You were shown call logs.
They gave me a printout of Mikey's call logs, and I gave it to the public. That's it. I mean, they're saying this, and then the public obviously comes
So,
back
do you
and says, well,
believe
how
Mikey
do you know
McCoy had any prior knowledge of Charlie's murder?
I can't say that he had prior knowledge of the murder unless I have something concrete. I can't say. You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared? Anything about prior knowledge. What I can say is what happened on that day. Mikey's behavior is weird on that day. I find it weird, like I said in the podcast yesterday, that what has been communicated to the public is like he called Erika instantly. First thing he did was call Erika instantly. And that's actually the call logs show that he didn't call Erika instantly.
But what are you suggesting about this guy?
Instantly, and then he had 3 ways.
No, when you got a
and
massive platform,
and then
but
showing
Candace,
his call logs
here's the
showed that
problem.
Blake Neff actually
You have
didn't
a
tell the truth
massive,
about what happened on that day.
But here's the problem, Candace. You have a massive platform, as you know. Millions and millions of people hang on your every word. When you devote a large part of an entire episode to the strange behavior of Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, you are putting a target on the guy's back. You're inferring it has something to do with this, or something to do with some cover-up, or whatever it is you're inferring. You know what you're doing when you do that. When you saw Erika Kirk, did you say to her that you believe there's something suspicious about Michael McCoy? Was she able to explain to you why there isn't? Or does she share your view that he is somehow complicit in this in some way?
Well, we actually dedicated more time speaking about his father, who I think it's strange to me that man calls himself a pastor. I communicated fully that everything about that man makes my skin crawl. I think he's a bad person. I think he's involved with bad people. And this is obviously, Mikey's a son. And, I asked a bit about Rob McCoy and Mikey McCoy's relationship. I would just like to be clear. I have never, I am not going to be emotionally conditioned to believe that asking questions when we aren't getting any answers is the crime itself. The crime was when Charlie got shot in the neck. So,
you've already said, you've already said though. You
the
told
easiest way to remove the
Candace,
easiest way. Let me finish. You can't ask me questions. Not let me finish.
You're contradicting what you've just said to me.
You have to.
You said to me earlier.
What did I contradict?
You said you gave 2 names of people in the Turning Point organization that you believe are complicit in some way. You gave those names, but you wouldn't name them because it wouldn't be right to do that. But you did name this guy, Mikey McCoy, who was the chief of staff.
Because his actions are strange. You're 2 different things. Really, Pierce, I think you're having trouble holding on to 2 buckets of thought here, okay?
Oh my God.
I told you punk ass niggas to get off the motherfucking timeline and rap. That's the problem. You niggas be crying. You niggas be bitching. You niggas need to fucking rap. When you can't nobody else come up here if they not rapping like that. Stay your punk ass at home.
She cooking this white man. If somebody says something in there, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop getting me. Bruh. This is how Candace Owens is acting. Well, if you black in the chat, do me a favor. Put a black fist in there one time. We figured out how Candace, 13 people left when I said that, by the way. But I think I found the perfect metaphor for Candace Owens, what she's doing to this man right now. This is crazy. By the way, I know it's been a while, but how y'all doing today? I always forget to ask that. Great, Gerald. So when I redrop the link later, you can tell us what she's lying about. All right, we got a few black fists up in there. I got something for y'all. Check this out. We found the perfect metaphor.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in
this whole thing has finally come together. Oh yeah, boss? Yeah. Slade comes over to us to drop some heavy cash on Farnsworth, thinking we'd be only too glad to pick it up because the word is out that Farnsworth ain't got nothing going for it. Mac is betting on Farnsworth while telling us that we can bet on 40th Street Black. So where's all the heavy money going? On 40th Street Black. Right. Sucker money, every last cent of it. Because here it is, the last day of sparring, and Farnsworth changes up. After playing possum for all these weeks. And for the suckers, it's too late, and Mac knows it. And if we hadn't seen this session, we'd have bet on Black too, and we'd have been cleaned out.
Bruh, this chick is working. I ain't gonna hold you. This chick is working the right so well. I ain't never seen nothing like this. How do y'all fall for this? And y'all out there putting out tweets and y'all doing videos on this. I'm just over here reacting and laughing. She is cooking this white man. That wasn't the point, Ken. That was not for them to go out there and work their shit out. That was them to go out there and say how much money they can make off of this. She talking about some, oh, she not gonna say nothing. This is Erika Kirk. She on social media. Her team gonna say something. Candace Owens is making hella money off of this. Because she knows them right wingers are dumb. The left really don't care. The left had already moved on from Charlie Kirk. They over there thinking about the midterms. The right is worried about what Candace Owens is saying. Remember, I don't know if you know this, but last week she said, I don't give a F about y'all's midterms. Them motherfuckers lost their mind when she said that. 3.6 million views in a day? Come on now. Hella money.
Very serious allegation. I gave them names of people that would not surprise me if they did have foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's murder. You are now shifting gears.
Good,
And
show
you're
us
asking me
where.
about Mikey McCoy and why I am raising red flags about his behavior on that day. Because I believe his behavior on that day was weird. I think it's painfully obvious.
So
that
do you
his behavior
believe
was weird.
he's
I don't
been
know people that
complicit?
don't duck when
Was
a
he-
shot
was
comes
he
down.
complicit?
So I'm sorry that I have eyes and I am agreeing with the public that Mikey McCoy's behavior was weird on that day. Okay, these are two different things. Now, if I'm going to make the an assertion that somebody had something to do with planning this murder, I better be damn sure. And I need, if I said that on my podcast, right? That's all I'm saying. I had never made that claim that Mikey McCoy planned Charlie Kirk's assassination.
No, I think like a lot of the claims you're making it's difficult.
The first part of what you said was correct. The second part is not because leftists were watching her. That's not how she grew. She grew because she left a Daily Wire. That's how she grew. She had a big upflow because this was an old channel, already had 1 million subscribers. Over 1 million, I should say. Then it started dipping. Then the Macron stuff came up. It went back up. Then it started dipping. She did the USS Liberty stuff. It went back up. Then it started dipping again. Then more of the Macron stuff started coming out. It went back up. Then it started to taper off. Then Charlie gets killed. Everybody was waiting to see what she said or what she was going to say. Spiked the views. And for the last 3 months between Macron and Charlie, she's grown that channel even more. So it's not because of leftists, because leftists don't give a shit about her. They love to mock her. They're waiting for her to get her wake-up call again. But there you go.
To work out what you're actually claiming. You're throwing a lot of mud in the air, including people's names, which immediately then has millions of people chasing
The
after
left
these
is not
guys on
watching
social
her.
media and
I'm
thinking,
sorry they get caught lying. Like, I'm sorry, what is this? This is like the public is
not a
actually being
leftist.
abused. Okay,
Try
let's
again.
not
Are
pretend
they?
that the victim
Are they, or do you
is
just
Rob
want them to think
McCoy.
they are?
No, the public is being abused because you're basically saying, stop noticing that people at Turning Point USA are lying.
No, I'm
How
not.
dare
No, I'm
Candace
not.
and the public know? Yes, you are.
No.
How dare Candace?
But when
and the
there's an
public, what are you
emphatic repudiation of what you're
Mikey-
Okay, Gerald. Okay. Since you want to be that guy. Okay. Because I literally went in on Roland Martin yesterday, but that makes me a leftist. Come prove I'm a leftist. This should be fun. How does me saying that Candace Owens is going off make me a leftist? And she's cooking a liberal. Why would I, as a leftist, cheer on Candace Owens cooking Piers Morgan, an admitted liberal? Why would I do that? It's like, do y'all think before you type stuff? What leftist you know shitted on Joe Biden every day of his presidency? What leftist you know do that? What leftist you know shitted on Kamala Harris since 2017? What leftist you know been shitting on Obama since 2011? What leftist you know do that? Now, come on, Gerald. Since you've been here before, you know how much of a leftist I am. Come prove it to us one time. I just shitted on Harry Sisson last night. No, was it last night? No, whatever day I made fun of CJ Pearson. I shitted on Harry Sisson while I did it. But okay. Figured.
If Mikey lies and Rob McCoy lies and Blake Neff lies, and yes, all of these people have lied on record after the assassination. And the public goes, hey, that's kind of a weird lie. You're like, how dare you put a target on their back by noticing that they're lying? I mean, what weird psychological operation is this?
Do you believe?
Don't lie.
Okay, but do
Don't lie.
you believe Erika Kirk has been lying about it?
Uh-oh.
No, I have been explicit on my show when people were saying, why aren't you attacking Erika Kirk? I said, because Erika Kirk has not lied. If to the extent that she lies, I will call it out. And that is why I did call out when she lied. Okay. When she said Charlie Kirk never received any text messages the night before saying that he was worried about that he was going to get murdered tomorrow. I instantly said, well, here we have it. That's a lie. He definitively did send out text messages to both Dan Flood and Andrew Colbert. And we met in person.
What did you say, Candace? Your little Caribbean ass?
We deal with English. We deal with Outlish. Yeah, because English you speak in, and I speak out.
She's cooking this white man.
Person, she clarified that, okay, yes, that's real. And we didn't know until you said it because he was using a different app and she was checking his iMessages. So to me, if you lie, you're going to make an enemy of me. Just don't lie. How about that basic requirement to say to people, don't lie about what happened on that day. Don't lie about what you did on that day, because that's the first clue to investigators that that person should be looked at further.
All
Again,
right. Well,
this is common sense.
Okay, let's move to something else Blake Neff said. He said, Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There's always something new coming up. None of it ever pans out because from the start, there's been nothing there. What do you say to that?
He's lying. And that's the reason why Blake Neff is a suspicious character. I mean, him saying that I pointed to a soccer UVU person is complete fiction. I never had discussed that person on my show. Somebody was asking for a clearer photo of the person on X, and I shared it. No suspicion. Never said this person had anything to do with anything. I never covered him as a suspect on my show of anything at all. Didn't ask for more information on this person. That kid instantly responded and said, oh, those are our school colors. And that was it. And Turning Point tried to turn it into a thing. Why are you doing that? Regarding the Egyptian planes, that's a fact. Why are you saying she said that there was a military Egyptian plane on the ground that day? There was. Then
She told that man.
Joke's on you.
How are you getting cooked? Piers, you're not looking well. Well, what was that? Sorry. Brienne, she claimed, if we talking about Erika Kirk, she say she had the cell phone, and then the next breath said, well, the FBI also had it. So the FBI knows what's on that phone. But again, correct. The Fed told her there was no phone, right? So who's lying? And this goes back to what Erika Kirk said in her town hall. She made it seem like the government wouldn't go take somebody out. Like, what? Allegedly tonight, and I'm going to probably cover that as well. They're saying Trump is probably going to announce that he's going to war with Venezuela because he's doing a message to the nation. Now, if that happens, we're going to see a MAGA meltdown, the likes we haven't seen since January 6th. But that's not what we're here to talk about. And I should hurry up because I want to take a break before we go after Vivek. But go ahead, Candace. Drop some more lyrics.
There were two. So why are you pretending that that's like a weird thing to notice? And that is why people have been flagged about these planes. To his
let me ask you about the planes.
I'm never allowed to answer a single question that you say in entirety before you move on to the next question.
You can't just keep talking ad infinitum. I'm allowed to ask you another question.
No, it's called answering. You
don't do that, Nene. She's not Jamaican. She's from St. Thomas. She's not Jamaican. Jamaican, nah. She looked like she never had a beef patty in her life. She looks like jerk chicken would revile her because it has spices and seasoning. Just saying.
Just read an entire statement of multiple points of place. I got to the second point, and
Oh,
you're like, let me ask you a question.
No,
he's fighting back.
Ask me a question.
I
Try
want
to
to
answer
ask
the question that you asked.
I want to ask you a follow-up specifically about the Egyptian planes, given you've now addressed it. Which
Fight
is,
back,
where
Piers.
is the evidence that any of these Egyptian planes were tracking Erika Kirk?
I am going to be publishing the full document because there's not even just 2 planes. There's actually 4 planes that have been flying in, and I should be more.
4 planes now. She about to say, never mind. 4 planes.
Thorough because I realized that the
And
spreadsheet
tracking
I posted,
Erika Kirk.
Can I just please, without you cutting me off, answer one thing? Okay, thank you. These Egyptian planes, more broadly speaking, now that we have gone deeper onto the planes, recognizing that the reaction to them is not normal, what we can say is that these Egyptian planes are tied to Israel. They've been flying in and out of Israel with their transponder off for years. But regarding the Turning Point USA picture, more broadly speaking, Turning Point USA faith, okay? Obviously, Erika has been involved in a lot of the church stuff. It's not specifically tracking just Erika. It's Turning Point faith events. Broadly speaking, I gave that information as well. I told Justin Strife and Erika, I'm happy to give you this color-coded spreadsheet. There's no question. There's a correlation here between Turning Point USA faith in particular, which, by the way, from the beginning of this, I've said something is wrong with this faith contingent, especially because Rob McCoy for a while was heading up that department, and he makes my skin crawl. And so, yeah, I have the evidence for that, and we're going to actually publish it on our website. So there can be no question, which I should have done from the very beginning.
But let me ask.
Oh, she's not talking fast. I sped the video up so we can get through it faster. And stop knocking Curry Gold. That shit is fire.
Showing that these planes were tracking Charlie. At various times there were Erika is, various times there were Rob McCoy is, but the consistent thread here is faith. faith events, like Kingdom to the Capitol tour.
Assuming you're right, and I don't know, but I know Erika Kirk, when asked about this, said on CBS, if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You, Candace, say I was here on this date. I have a photo on my phone to prove I was actually in hospital having contractions. So that's one thing she's directly repudiated. But let's assume for a moment you're right, and that all these Egyptian planes were flying around tracking Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, Faith and Erika Kirk. Why? What is your theory?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what's your theory then? You must have an idea.
My theory is that we should investigate everything strange that happened on that day so we can figure out what happened.
But are you suggesting
why is everybody
Egypt?
why are we pretending that we don't know why we ask questions? Like, why? Like, you're a journalist.
You
know.
Jesus
You're like, what's going on? What's going on? Why do you want to know why these planes were tracking Charlie? Well, my theory is that we are being sold absolute Fed slop. The media is doing their Operation Mockingbird Part 2 scenario by telling us, well, unless you absolutely have a conclusion, you can't even ask the question. Yes, we very well can keep asking consistent questions until we get a clarified explanation for what happened on that day. And right now,
ma'am. Okay, I'm about done because I need to take a break. But ma'am, you think the government gonna tell us the truth about what happened with that man if it is indeed their op? Why would they do that? Come on. Really, let's think like rational human beings. Why would the government admit that they had one of their citizens killed? They saw how y'all reacted when presidents ordered bombings and they bombed American citizens. Y'all saw what happened with Obama. He had to keep answering them questions for months. He's still answering that question today. He went and killed Gaddafi. He's still answering questions about slavery. Trump is deporting American citizens right now. He's going to have to answer that for the rest of his life. Why would they admit that? There's been assassinations of people on this country that we don't even know about. They don't care. They're going to do what they do because they know the people are not going to stand up. And by the way, even if you prove it, that the government somehow took that man out, do you think the right wing is going to mobilize and go outside? They're not going to do nothing except tweet about it and ask people to lose their jobs. And look here, Cash ain't doing nothing, and they're asking for his head on a spike. So is Pam. You really think that's going to intensify when they find out if what she's saying is true? You think that's going to be a louder call? No. And shows how much Trump cares because he's not even pushing that. I need to find out what happened to my friend Charlie. Nothing. But okay. But anyway, I'm going to go take a break before we go laugh at Vivek Ramaswamy crying to the New York Times about some mean words. I thought this dude was tough. We must have got it wrong. But hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Burn it all down, Candy. Burn it all down. We here for it. So I will see y'all in about an hour. And now that we figured this out, that shouldn't take that long, I hope, because this is damn near almost 3 hours. But Trump's address later, I think it was 9 o'clock or something. We will be covering that here, but we'll be in purple mode. So if he does say war with Venezuela, boy. But anyway, y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Oh, here it goes!
Time's up.
Get your ass up! We gotta get out of here now!
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
Gotta get your groove on!
end of the day, that they got in.
That's it.